Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the December virtual road trip. I'm Pam Brandon. Happy to have everyone joining, and I see you're getting on. The participants are getting on, so we'll give it a few minutes. We are going to travel to Pennsylvania today, and New Jersey, and Texas. The beauty of the virtual world. And I'm sure that some of you out there are probably dealing with what our guest speakers today are dealing with, and that's the snow that's coming to the Northeast. So they were just telling me prior to this how they were watching the snowflakes cover their cars and hoping they could get home in time before they got caught in even more snow. So I have to say that I'm a bit jealous being from Texas, where we get 4 snowflakes a year. But in any event, we have cooler weather right now, so I can't complain about that. So looks like we're slowing down. So I am going to go ahead and get started. I know that December is not busy for anyone right now. And so thank you for taking the time to be here. Thank you especially to our great speakers for taking the time to be here, because as I know, there is always a lot going on in mid-December. So again, I'm Pam Brandon. I'm president and founder of AGE-u-cate Training Institute. We develop and deliver innovative research-based aging and dementia care training for providers across the continuum of care. Our family of programs includes Dementia Live, Compassionate Touch, Flashback, our newest program, Reading to Connect, and Ageless Grace. And we do this across the United States and internationally. So to find out more, you can certainly go to our website. But I want to go ahead and start because we have 2 awesome guests today. And I want to just thank you again for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedules. I would have to be not only mid-December, but the week when the vaccines come out, right? I mean, we couldn't ask for more. So let me first start by introducing Carrie Chiusano. She is Executive Director of the Presbyterian Senior Care Network, Dementia Care Center of Excellence in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Carrie has 30 years of long-term care experience with Presbyterian Senior Care Network. Started, I think, as a CNA, right, Carrie?
No, activities, recreation therapy, lifestyle engagement.
Okay. So she has spent most of those years helping to shape and implement the Woodside Place philosophy of specialty care for persons living with dementia and Alzheimer's and related dementias. Prior to her current role, she served for 5 years as the administrator for Woodside Place of Oakmont, which opened in 1991 and was one of the nation's first dementia-specific residential communities, specifically designed to meet the holistic needs of older adults living with Alzheimer's and related dementias. And I will let Carrie tell a little bit more about her vast role of what she does in leading her team and training, and it's an incredible and vast responsibility that you have, I will say. And Angel Allaire is joining us from the Arbor company. She is graciously filling in for Laura Ellen Christian, who is ill, and so we wish Laura Ellen the best. But Angel, we're thrilled to have you. Angel's Regional Vice President of Engagement and Training for the Arbor Company, who is based out of Atlanta. And but Angel is in New Jersey, so she is also getting snow. Angel started her career at age 19 in senior living as a CNA. At the time, she had her heart on becoming a nurse, but she was always finding herself engaging with residents and involved in activity programs. So she turned her direction to activities. Throughout her 27 years in the senior living field, she has worked as an activity assistant, assistant director of activities, director of activities, and administrator for an adult daycare center. She joined the Arbor Company in 2016 as an engagement director and was promoted in 2018 to regional vice president of engagement and training. So what incredible work you both have, long time work, passionate work in this field. And certainly I can say from our standpoint and having the honor of being partners with both of you, having our programs, that you're great leaders and you have great teams, very passionate about what the work that you do. And so I really look forward to this discussion today, and I want to encourage anyone out there to, if you have questions, certainly we're going to have a time at the end where we can ask questions to Carrie or Angel. So welcome again. So let's start our fireside chat, lessons learned and looking ahead. Not that we've had any lessons learned this year, have we? So let's go back to March. I know that seems like in some ways a long time ago, and then in other ways it seems like yesterday, right?
Absolutely, right.
Yeah. So let's go back to March and the changes that you had to make so quickly. We were talking before we started the broadcast about all the different phases we've gone through in our, not knowing what to expect with COVID. So let's just, Carrie, I'll let you start and just share. I'm not sure. I've talked to both of your organizations throughout this year, and I can't remember exactly when I talked to each of you, but I remember as I talked to different partners, sometimes just getting like, what's happening, this blank stare of, is this really going on?
Right.
So
I think, to be honest, I think the hardest part is for some of our long-term team members, people that have been with us for a really long time. We've lost them. We've lost them. At least a handful I know of retired early, simply because they were afraid. Even if they only had a few months left, they were afraid of COVID. Some other team members, maybe they haven't left, but they've gone from a full-time position to part-time or even casual. And that's because of things, for example, childcare. They didn't have any childcare or limited childcare. The schools are doing their stuff virtually. Their learning is virtual. And so moms and dads had to be home with the kids. They couldn't very well leave them alone. So when we have really good team members that we plan on having here for at least 8 hours a day, and now we have all these holes in the schedule, that's a big deal for us. We also have our new program, Dementia 360. And what that is it's designed to help the caregiver at home feel more confident in their skills, more supported and caring for the person that they're caring for in their own homes. And we would go in and do assessments and have conversations and really make the connections that they need in the here and now. Those are all virtual now. So you only get to see this little square instead of walking in and having your eyes everywhere to see what the real needs are, not just what the caregiver's telling you, right?
Right.
And then the missed family visits too. Families coming into the communities and really engaging with the person, their family member. And because they can't come in, there's a lot more phone calls to the team. And I mean, think about it. I mean, those are extra eyes that we're used to having in the neighborhoods, working with the residents, hey, you might want to go check on Jim while you went in to help that lady. So there's some big changes there that really affect a lot of what happens in the day-to-day in all of our communities and the services we offer at home as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How many communities, so everyone knows? do you
Oh
support?
gosh, we're from Erie to Washington, PA. I want to say about 57, 58.
Wow.
So I remember one of our conversations this year when you said, not unusual to see your executive team cleaning, they just jumped right in, and I think that was, that's part of what had to happen when, some of your key team staff and team members that have been with you for so long were not able to come to work, is the old do what you have to do, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Angel, what about the Arbor
Sure.
company?
Sure. Well, I can piggyback off of what Carrie said. Definitely, everything happened so fast. From trying to get a solid testing company so we can, provide testing for our staff and residents, to keeping up with the state and, local guidelines, to then communicating that with families. And they changed often and quickly and a lot, and then communicating that to families right away. Um, and like Carrie said, our staff and the senior living industry prior to this had staffing concerns. So that
Right.
just, COVID just made it even more difficult. And, trying to pedal, fast to keep, staffing in our communities. And when Carrie was talking about some of her support, and it reminded me of some of our executive directors that said to the staff when they were scared or nervous, listen, let's go. I'm going to be right by you. I'm going to be right by your side. We're going to take care of this together. And honestly, that is what kept us going. The teamwork and the camaraderie, and that, you're not alone in this, and we're all here together.
Yeah.
So that was something that I definitely remember. And then also, like Carrie said, I guess, thinking about these unexpected events, is that just all of a sudden families were not allowed to come in and visit, and that was just so devastating for everybody. Even the staff, their families are our families as well. It's a very family-like business that we're in. So quickly trying to figure out how to keep families connected, and using technology sometimes on the hour, forget about daily, which we always prided ourselves in the Arbor company is using technology and working with organizations and things like that. But now we catapulted into it, and we're just using it so often and every day. A silver lining is that we were able to connect folks that haven't been connecting, meaning people that lived out of state and that wanted to see their loved ones, and it was just easier now. But yeah, technology was a big unexpected, good that came out of this.
Yeah. I think that people have realized that there's some good that in connecting families, like you said, long distance, and reaching, some of our providers serve individuals in the community, and being able to reach them virtually is something they're going to continue to do. So that's one of the lessons learned, I think, through this year. What about some of the ideas you had to keep your staff motivated? What was some of the things that you came up with that you didn't think about before that worked? I know bringing in lunches was one that Carrie shared with me, that they had, pizzas and sub sandwiches delivered. And I'm sure that you were doing that, many of you as well out there. But anything that you want to share?
Well, we actually started an entire campaign called Heroes with Heart. A lot of us are picking up on that word heroes, right, Angel? I'm sure you have heroes or two.
Yes,
They're
yes.
all over the world right now. But through the whole campaign, I guess for me, the most important thing was really the regular messaging from our CEO, Mr. Paul Winkler, and other leaders through Presbyterian Senior Care Network. Just being transparent, supportive, empathetic to the team's needs, really. You alluded to it, Pam, when you said, when you mentioned about some of our top level leaders really, rolling up their sleeves. Nothing speaks volumes more than the CEO being your screener at 6 a.m. asking you the questions, the COVID questions, right? But we had the pizzas, we had the hoagies, everything individually wrapped, and, we're delivering. So, team members don't cross over into, so staying in our own zones and all of that. But, gift cards to our homes from the CEO across all 2,200 team members, right? The t-shirts that say heroes with heart that look like a Superman symbol. We have, we've got the, the pins that we wear. We have the cups, the mugs, the masks, the umbrellas, everything that have the hero with heart emblem on it, the logo, just so that we're reminded how much we're appreciated, how much, and when the team comes to us and says, Carrie, for your Heroes with Heart campaign, you know what? We would love to have casual day every day. There's no visitors coming in. We have no vendors. So to be able to say, sure, be casual, be comfortable, do what you want to do. We're kind of getting used to it, though. We're really enjoying it. But, like you said, Pam, it really gives a whole new meaning to all hands on deck at this time. Really gives a whole new meaning to what we consider the universal worker.
Absolutely. And really, I think you're building resiliency with your staff by doing those things, almost teaching them that, just like we say, we teach empathy, you're teaching resiliency for those staff that were able to stick with you and didn't have to quit for the reasons that you said. That teamwork can be very powerful and fill them up as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So at the Arbor company, some of the similar things that Carrie said, but the Arbor support partners, we were designated and called spirit buddies. So each of us had a community that we focused on. So it was just, we gave all the attention that we could to this community by some of the same things, personal messages. One thing that really, that was so effective was good old fashioned handwritten notes and cards, and thanking them personally meant a lot. When all of the senior leadership teams did that, the community level, they were so grateful and thankful the next time that you visited and said, thank you for my card. So that was something really simple but effective. Of course, sending videos, sending encouraging messages, things like that. And the Arbor company did recognize some of those financial hardships. So another thing that we tried to do was, for the childcare issues, they offered some money to help support that, as well as when this first happened and the groceries were out of supply, the grocery stores were out of supplies, and it was just hard to get out to get anything. We our dining teams took orders, and actually we gave out some essential food supplies to staff as well during that time. So I know that they were very grateful for that. So, those little things went a long way. Also, we teamed up with other organizations recently to teach us and to find that balance of safety and joy. And not only in our communities, but also making sure that our staff finds joy when they go home in a safe way. So we came up with this conversation with folks from Liberating Structures really helped us and some of our team leaders. And from that session, it catapulted us into other ideas. So we've done meditation groups, we've had prayer circles. It connected us and made us think of other organizations. So like Eversound's a headset system that helps connect residents to family when we have to do the window visits, and they could have a two-way conversation easily, because sometimes being on the phone was very difficult for our residents to hear. So that has been wonderful. But anyways, I guess I just want to talk about how we really focused on finding joy and making sure that people took time for themselves, because they're just giving and giving. But we had to remind our staff, like, take 5 minutes for you, take a 5-minute meditation break. It's okay. Have a cup of coffee with your peer, sit and chat, socially distance, of course, but that was a big part of taking care of them.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that I think some of these things are probably going to carry over long, through the COVID recovery and long after, because they were things that worked. One of the questions from our participants is, were you able to tap into your family members to help with thank you notes and lunches, etc.? Did you kind of include them in the circle of your team?
Absolutely. So I could speak first, Carrie, sorry, but a lot of our families felt like they wanted to help out in some way. So we definitely welcomed any volunteering if they had anything they wanted to give to us and things like that. But yeah, but we had the residents really sending these notes and pictures, and not digital pictures. We literally sent pictures to them, because you don't really get that anymore. And so it was like something else to connect our residents to their families, to show them what they were doing in our communities. So yeah, I think that was another thing I wanted to say, is that we were always connected to family, but I think this just made us even more connected, because our executive team was having weekly calls with families, where we had a whole town-wide, family Zoom call. So I think it even brought us together even more, instead of when before we would see each other on holidays, like all as a whole community family, or when there were special events, but now we were seeing each other weekly. So that was another thing that was the silver lining of COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There was a what we started very early on, we called Rays of Sunshine, where we reached out to the community at large, just not family members like Angel said, but the community at large, and sharing, where this whole isolation thing, it's really tough, not just on the team and the families, but the residents too. So we asked people to start sending rays of sunshine. They were notes, they were messages, they were all kinds of really neat things. And a couple of our rec therapists at our Woodside Place community kind of put their arms around that, and then started making all kinds of, like a rainbow, today's a ray of sunshine. And they would take pictures every week. It was something different, a different theme, all kind of circled around the theme of rays of sunshine. And they would decide on a little theme, and they would put it on a poster board, and the team members would have the residents hold it up and send it back to the family members in an email. It didn't take long, but the residents were they designed the background, and everything was individualized so they could do it one-on-one. And that was it just spoke volumes to the family members. And then the other thing, another rec therapist, Brittany Sarnice, did, she pulled the whole rec therapy team together, our lifestyle engagement team, across the network, and really started thinking, our residents deserve more than, what you get per resident for a Christmas gift every year is $10, $15. I'm not even sure what it is anymore, but she actually put it out there, went through with the team and the families, and found out exactly what residents want, very individualized, very person-centered, and just started loading this stuff as requests on Amazon. And the amount of people that we don't even know are just sending. The other day I was talking to her on the phone, and I heard all this commotion in the back, and she said, Carrie, I just brought up 97 gifts from the dock, from the loading dock. And who would have thought? So we put it on social media, and people I've never even heard of are reaching out to me and say, hey, that was great putting it on social media. She said, I sent 3 gifts today. It made me feel good that I was giving somebody something. Some of these things are $40, $50, and you're thinking, that's way better than that $10 gift that everybody was going to get. So the creativity, like you said, Angel, is really going to go forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is great. And people, you're including people and, being able to give, which gives, they get back so much more when they're part of it. So that's a great example. Great example. What other stories do you have that really stand out from the year that was like, wow, we did this? Anything else?
Well, I can share. More things keep popping into my head as we're speaking here. But another thing that we did as an engagement group, as the engagement partners with the engagement directors and the coordinators as well. We just did it with that, but we hosted an evening happy hour where we all got together via Zoom, and it turned out great. We played music trivia and had a cocktail together, and everybody just talked and kind of unwind. And we had it over a 6 weeks period, maybe more. And every week it grew because people were going back and telling their coworkers, oh, this is what we're doing. And then the other departments were jealous that what we were doing. So maybe it helped other people have the same connection, but just another simple but effective way to connect and unwind also. So that was definitely something that came up.
We did, ours was a paint and sip, and we were able to get family members and residents and their family members. We were mailing out paint and sips all the way to the state of Washington, and everybody was on, and it was great. And we turned it into a fundraiser. It was something really great. We donated to the Alzheimer's Association and our Highmark Walk. So
that's beautiful.
Pretty cool.
Right. You too could write a book. I mean, really, I think things that you never thought of, so many leaders like the two of you, they didn't know that the capacity was out there to be so creative and innovative and engage so many people that you hadn't before, like the community at large, and bringing families in and making them a part of this. It had to have made them feel very special when they couldn't see their loved one. Really, really neat.
I can share something, Pam, that Laura Ellen, I will speak for her, and something that she said, a story or something that stood out for her is that when we began to have our weekly COVID calls with our leadership in the communities and the senior leadership team at the Arbor Company, she really remembered how we opened it up to having somebody open our session with meditation or breathing or relaxation or a prayer, or opening up with an inspirational quote, and then also ending the call like that. So I think, with that being said, she definitely remembered that as uplifting folks, and also making everybody feel heard, because next week this person wanted to lead that prayer or inspirational quote. And it really was very helpful. So that was something that she said that she wanted to share.
Yeah, that is incredible. We had a request here. Can you share the post you did for the social media ask for the gifts for your team members? So
sure. It's actually on LinkedIn. We put it on LinkedIn. It's under my name. I reposted it. Feel free to go in there and check it out.
Absolutely. That's a great idea, Carrie.
It is a great idea. It is a great idea.
I would love to take credit for that, but that was our lifestyle engagement team. Our social work team came up with the paint and sip. We've just, they make us, the leaders look great, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's why I always say you learn from each other, that nobody has all the answers. You definitely get those sparks of inspiration when somebody's, in their shower and they come in and say, oh, I just thought of something, and they say, let's try it.
Absolutely.
Let's try it.
Yeah, I mean, what can it hurt? Especially, it's COVID. What can it hurt? Let's try it. And I'm sure many of those have come up as being the big success stories. So emotional effects to your residents, certainly the isolation and loneliness. Let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing and, how we're going to move through that in the weeks and months ahead. As we've still got some rough times to go. We know that before we're going to be COVID free.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to tell you, one of the things, our team, I can't believe how extraordinarily resilient our team has been. One of the things that we do every year, we partner with some of the inner city high schools. We call it high school career pathways. And we go and each of us take time to educate the teams. I do the dementia care piece, but we've got nurses, we have environmental services, we have dining services, nursing, lifestyle engagement. We all go in and we take turns. And then at the end of the year, they come here for a field trip, do a little bit of shadowing. Obviously that couldn't happen that this year. So I was the lucky person. I had the wonderful opportunity that we picked 15 team members from those different service or from those different teams, and just kind of randomly picked some people that I knew. And I just asked questions, like, tell me about your journey. What kind of education following high school did you have to do? What interactions do you have with the team or the families or the residents? And what's it all about? And tell me, what's the hardest thing that you do? What's the best thing you do? Why do you wake up every single day? Share your journey, tell me your story. And the people that we had in there just poured out their heart and soul. I felt so bad for the editing team because it was supposed to be 15 minutes. They were 25, 30 minutes. And they were like, I can't cut anymore. It's too good. But the themes that kept coming back was the togetherness we have here, the family. We are a family. We're a family away from our family, whether it be the residents or the team or the residents' family members. I do it, and they all said it, for my residents. And nobody else knew who was coming and talking. So it was just to know that those were the three themes, and we just got them together. And they're supposed to go only to these high schools, right? And I keep telling our I sat down with our PR people, our communications executive director. I said, we have to use these other places. This chef who worked his way up from a cook's helper, now he's our production manager. He's been promoted and so many times. And his story was, he had me in tears. Like, I cried like 3 or 4 times. It's just so good. And you feel that goodness. And the best part was for my residents, even if they were in the kitchen, when they were the housekeeper, no matter what their role was, the maintenance guy would go upstairs and have coffee with somebody on the 3rd floor because their husband passed away. So in his rounds at night, that's when he took his break. And that's where these people are here. They're good people and they're here for the right reasons. And it made me so proud of who we have here and what our mission is. It was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Very inspiring.
Carrie made me remember something also, that one thing that it was helpful for our residents is that our staff's talents. So for example, during this time in many of the states that we support, hairdressers were not allowed to come into the community if they weren't a staff member. So we didn't have hairdresser services, and the beauty parlor was closed. Now, I like to get my hair done. Many of our residents do. And that was something that was really upsetting them. So we had staff members that had a talent in that. And they were like, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. We're going to get out, I'll bring in products. We'll take care of it. And they took care of our residents in that way. Or we had some folks that were ministers and they ran prayer groups for us. And we found out that so many of our employees could sing and they were hosting, because of course we couldn't have a live vendor come in and entertain anymore. So we really used our resources and found these hidden talents, which made the staff happy as well to bring joy to our residents during this time.
Mm-hmm. And through the masking and PPE, your residents still felt that warmth and that connection. And I'm sure they can't wait to be able to see smiles again. But there's ways to show that connection, even when we do have to be masked up. And I'm sure they felt that. Certainly, those are very heartwarming stories. So we're now at what we are, being told is going to be a pretty rough winter, but hope with the vaccine. And so we are kind of going through that. I don't know what phase this would be, 3rd or 4th phase of emotion, from not knowing what we were faced with in March, April, to thinking it was going to be not so long, then knowing that it was going to continue. And now now with some hope with the vaccine. So what do things look like for you moving forward? Just next few months. I know that vaccine distribution is no small task for you. That's a whole operational feat that you're entering into, and then, and then past that. So let's talk a little bit about what your plans are now.
Well, I'll start briefly, Carrie, but I guess it's just hard to, I think the first step is that we have to do away with the word normal. Like, I don't think normalcy is going to come back for a while. And we just have to, even with the vaccine coming, I don't think it's going to be normal for a little bit, so we have to celebrate those small wins and just keep pushing forward towards balancing safety and joy. And finding those little positive things like we've all just been talking about and keep going with that. And it's kind of the best that we can do, but just knowing that we should take it day by day, because things change day by day in our industry and with the state guidelines and regulatory systems and things like that. So that was just one thing that popped into my head, Carrie. I don't know if you have more to share there.
Well, one of the things that Presbyterian Senior Care Network did recently, which I thought was pretty amazing, was they actually encouraged all of us, all team members across the whole network, to really participate in this survey relating to the team members' needs. What is it that you need as a team member to better help you so that you can better help our residents, right? And the goal is really to work with our employee assistance program to uplift team members when they're feeling that they're at a point where they really can't do it themselves. I mean, it sounds like we kind of sugarcoated a lot of stuff here in the past 30 minutes, but our team is working double shifts. They're coming in on their days off. They're tired. They're even when they do go home, they're sleeping in different rooms and, maybe in the basement just because they're scared and they want to be extra careful and they want to make all of that happen. So to really partner up with our EAP program and offer what it is, some of those things that we need. Angel, I was so happy to hear about the food that you guys were, getting that out there. Our team has recently started doing that as well. Called through partnering up with other people through CREST programs and different things like that. Now that it's cold and it's snowing, those visits, those outdoor visits aren't able to happen. And come on, we're in Western Pennsylvania. We found out last night on the news that we are the fourth gloomiest city in the whole country.
Oh,
We get more snow and rain than less than only 3 other cities in the state. So our outdoor visits aren't what they used to be through the summer. That's been tough. Eversound has been amazing. It's Never Too Late tablets have been amazing. And then really brainstorming right now, we're just starting to get to the vaccines, like you had mentioned, Pam. Like we've got a whole group, a whole COVID task force, very smart people, much smarter than I, really coming up with the right plan and who gets it at what time and all of that. So that's kind of our next steps.
And I think, if anything, certainly we know that we've got a ways to go with this, even with the vaccine. Like you said, Angel, certainly it's not going to change overnight. And what is normal probably is never going to be the same.
right.
But I think it's given us some hope of that we're moving forward. And certainly I hope families are feeling that soon, whether that's a few months or more than that, but they can have hope that they will be able to connect with their loved one again. Absolutely. Carrie, I want to just ask if you'll share with the participants your story that your mom is actually in one of your communities.
Yeah, so she's actually a couple floors up. And I'm not allowed to see her about this time. So everybody has a silver lining, right? And when my mom tells people this, it's really heartbreaking and kind of funny at the same time. This time last year, she was diagnosed with cancer. So we've had a few surgeries. We've had 2 surgeries, and we keep going back for multiple rounds of treatment, right? So my birthday was just a few weeks back, and she called me crying one day. She goes, I just realized that Tuesday is your birthday, and we're not, this will be the first time in, should I say 29 years, 55 years that we won't be on together on your birthday. And it really got to me. And so I started making phone calls, and I called our hospital that she gets her treatments at St. Margaret's. And I called and I said, I just explained the story to her. And I said, is there any way that we can start instead of the following week? Can we start a week early? Just so I get to drive her. And they were, of course we can make that happen. So we started her treatments a week early, and there was no hugging, there was no kissing, there was no cakes, there wasn't even any hand holding in the car. We both had our masks on, but we were able to spend the day together. And, you know, thinking about wrapping gifts, like I'm wrapping her gifts now, I'm putting them in a box, I'm going to drop them off to the concierge, and we're going to FaceTime Christmas morning as everybody opens their gifts. It's different and it's hard, but there's good people out there that are willing to get creative and do the best we can with what we have. And I'm grateful for those folks. I am.
You have both perspectives to be living through since March, which has given you, I think, even more empathy and compassion. But that's a great story. Anything else either of you want to add? I'm going to ask if any of the participants too, if you want to chat in any questions. Both of you have shared so many inspiring ideas.
I would like to say just one thing. The person that I partner with, Jackie Flanagan, when we were starting our Heroes with Heart campaign, really trying to come up with some ideas at the beginning, in the very beginning. I want to say we were in dresses, sundresses, so it was still summer. She said, I don't care how long this takes. She says, every team member, nobody's going to go hungry, especially on Thanksgiving. One of the things I'm going to make sure everybody has a turkey on their table. She started her campaign when we were in sundresses, and lo and behold, I had forgotten about it. I completely forgot about it. We worked on everything together with the exception of that. And lo and behold, in the mail came a gift card for a Butterball turkey and all 2,200 team members. So, if you have it to give, if you're willing to donate, if you're not even money, just time, phone calls, Amazon, $10 for a resident for a gift, it's so appreciated, not just from the residents, but the team.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really is. Every single little thing that somebody can do, it collectively makes a huge difference.
Amen.
For example.
Amen.
I think I want to just share one more story. Like Carrie, so proud of our creativity, our communities, our team members. So just recently, we had a community that created a Snowflake Tree, and I'm reading it because I want to make sure I get the wording down right. So they created a Snowflake Tree to honor all residents who passed away this year. They created a beautiful snowflake ornament that's being sent to the resident's family member with a poem saying, we send the snowflake with a hug and a kiss in honor of your loved one that we all love and miss. Just like a snowflake, they were all one of a kind. They'll hold a place forever in our hearts and our mind. So that's just another way to show how our communities are taking care of each other and just connecting. And we actually, I could share too that a family member, was so grateful to get that ornament at this time of the year. So anyway, these are just little things. And I guess one last thing that I'd like to share about, the continued efforts that we're doing is, and I think I really like to speak about this because I've been doing this work in the communities I support, is just reminding everybody to take care of themselves. So, the meditation, things to take home. We've given out essential oils to our team members so that they can use them at night to, like Carrie said, they're working long shifts and they're exhausted, but these little things to help even when we're not with them and they're at home. you know, it brings me joy when I go into a community and I do this meditation, and the next time I come in, they say, are you doing that training again where we can relax and sit down for 5 minutes? And I said, I didn't plan to, but yes, we will. If whatever you want. So anyway, that's just another, I guess, a big thing that the Arbor Company is going to do is continue to take care of our staff during this new year.
Yeah. Certainly, this has been a reminder that you can't give away what you don't have, and we need to keep our own cups full and keep that, you know, in mind for our staff. That's great. Great inspirational stories and ideas for our participants. I don't see any other questions, but certainly if people do have questions for you, I'll say they can reach out to us, and I'll pass that along to both of you if that's okay. I think that it's clear that your strong and passionate leadership has carried on to your teams this year, and says so much for you as professionals and for your organizations that have supported the efforts that you've done. Says so much. And you know, we're not done yet, but we're hopefully we're on our way to 2021 that will open up new opportunities for us to learn and grow together, as we should always be doing. So thank you both. I want to thank everyone for participating today and taking the time. I want to just wish everyone a happy holiday, and also, before we go, to encourage you to join us in January. We are going to be continuing our virtual road trip that we thought would only be in 2020. We're going to continue that in 21 because it's been very, very well received. And we're going to be welcoming Susan Ryan, who is Senior Director with the Greenhouse Project, another passionate leader with many, many years of wisdom. And she is going to be talking about catching the wave of opportunity. And I think we all know that we're going to continue these discussions of what do we need to do differently and better in aging services? What have we learned? And how can we collaborate? I think the thing that we all have to do is just learn from each other. Nobody is an expert, right? But I will say that you two ladies are exceptional leaders, and thank you so much for sharing. And please pass on to your teams and all of you participants that we wish you all a very happy holiday, and thank you for your selflessness and in all that you've done this year. So thank you again. And let me check one more time before we leave.
While you're checking, I have one more thing to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have to say that I've been in this field, as you said, 27 years, which is a long time, but I absolutely loved, and I think it's my favorite training that I ever did, was Dementia Live, and then going out and being a leader in Dementia Live. I'm getting chills just talking about it, but it has been one of the most powerful trainings for me. And then to be a facilitator and providing it to our staff, our communities, and then the outside community has been so powerful for me and my own personal career development. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
I concur. I concur. It's one of the top things people want us to do, right, Angel?
They do.
Do we get to wear the glasses and the headsets now?
Right.
Thank you for that, Pam.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a joy to see so many people benefit from this, and families benefit, and staff. So thank you for being such great partners. I had the great opportunity to meet with both of your teams in person, and hopefully I'll be back to meet with your new set of team at some point. But
absolutely, we will. How about that?
That's right. We will all be in person someday.
We will.
That day will come. So thank you all both again, and all of you participating, and very warmest wishes to you for a great holiday, and get home before the snow, both of you.
It's coming. It's here.
Happy
All right.
holidays,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye-bye.